Hello everyone and welcome to our GAinful series. Today we'll be covering the news from June 17th till June 23rd. Let's get started. Danish economist and environmentalist Inger Andersen took over as the new executive director of which organization? How many journalists have been felicitated with Matri Shri Media Award this year? Name the cyclone that recently drifted through the coast of Gujarat in Arabian Sea. The theme for the World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought 2019 was what? India and which armies have conducted Operation Sunrise Phase 2? Here are answers. Danish economist and environmentalist Inger Andersen took up her new role as Executive Director of UN Environment Programme UNEP. 29 journalists from print and electronic media were felicitated with Matrishri Media Award for their contribution towards journalism. Cyclone Vayu has decreased in intensity and is expected to cross the Gujarat coast as a depression, the weatherman told news agency. Now, the theme for United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification was Let's Grow the Future Together. That's for 2019. In the last 5 months, the armies of India and Myanmar have launched 2 phases of joint operation along Myanmar border, targeting camps of insurgent group operating in northeast. Named Operation Sunrise, the strategy is aimed at hitting militant groups that are impacting both India and Myanmar. The World Food India 2019 will be held from 1st to 4th of November 2019 in which city? What is India's GDP growth forecast by Fitch for the current fiscal? Where was the second meeting of the India-Italy Counterterrorism Joint Working Group held? Mohammad Morsi, who died at the age of 67, was the former president of which country? Gloria Vanderbilt, who died at the age of 95, was a renowned what? The World Food India 2019 will be the biggest gathering of all global and domestic stakeholders in food processing sectors. It will be held in New Delhi. Fitch lowered India's growth forecast to 6.6 for the current fiscal from 6.8 projected earlier, as manufacturing and agriculture sectors showed sign of slowing down over the past year. The second meeting of India-Italy Counterterrorism Joint Working Group was held in New Delhi. Former President of Egypt, Mohammad Morsi, died after collapsing during a session in court. He was taken to Cairo hospital but could not be revived. Morsi, who was 67, was on trial for espionage and had addressed the court when he blacked out. He was country's first democratically elected president and the member of Egypt's most powerful Islamist group, the now banned Muslim Brotherhood. Gloria Vanderbilt, the intrepid heiress, artist, and romantic who began her extraordinary life as the poor little rich girl of the Great Depression, survived family tragedy and multiple marriages, and reigned during 70s and 80s as designer jeans pioneer, died at the age of 95. Franco Gefirelli of Italy, who died at the age of 96, was a famous what? The RBI has set up ambitious target to push up digital transaction volume by 4 times by which year? According to the World Population Prospect 2019, India will surpass China's world most populous country around which year? Tarundeep Rai, Atanu Das, and Praveen Jadhav are associated with which sports? Recently, Dash Transport Corporation has launched Shallow app to help commuters to know about the live arrival time of their bus. Legendary Italian filmmaker Franco Gefirelli has passed away at the age of 96. India pushed to build a less cash economy seemed to be gathering momentum with central bank recording phenomenal growth in digital transactions till March 2019 and setting an ambitious target to push up volume by 4 times by 2021. The World Population Prospect 2019 highlights, which is published by the Population Division of the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs, said that the world population is expected to reach 9.7 billion in 2050 and could peak at 11 billion in around 2100. India projected to surpass China's world most populous country in 2027. The Indian men recurve team lost its Wei in the World Archery Championship final against the People Republic of China to settle for silver in Den Bosch, the Netherlands. The names Tarundeep Rai, Atanu Das, and Praveen Jadhav, they are our uh, people from the archery team. Assam Transport Minister Chandra Mohan Patovari launched the State Transport Corporation Chalo app for Guwahati. The app will help commuters know about the live arrival time of their bus so they can plan their travel accordingly. Bajaj Alliance General Insurance and which other organization has signed an agreement to distribute Bajaj Alliance insurance product? The RBI has imposed a penalty of how many rupees on HDFC Bank for non-compliance with the direction on Know Your Customer, anti-money laundering norms, and on reporting of frauds. Dash Bank has entered a bancassurance corporate agency agreement with Tata AIG. Which tech company has unveiled plan for a new global cryptocurrency called Libra? Dash is conducting a market study on e-commerce in India to develop a better understanding of functioning of e-commerce in the country and its implication for markets and competition. Bajaj Alliance General Insurance and Citibank have signed an agreement to distribute Bajaj Alliance insurance product. Reserve Bank of India has imposed rupees 1 crore penalty on private sector lender HDFC for the non-compliance with direction of KYC, anti-money laundering norms, and on reporting of frauds. IDBI has entered a bancassurance corporate agency agreement with Tata AIG. This is to provide the general insurer product to the bank's 2 crore customers through its 1850 plus branches. Facebook unveiled a plan for a new global cryptocurrency called Libra, pledging to deliver stable virtual money that lives on smartphone and could bring over 1 billion unbanked people into the financial system. The Competition Commission of India is conducting market study on e-commerce in India. According to Randstad Employer Brand Research, which company in India is the most attractive employer brand? Name the new chief of Pakistani intelligence agency ISI. India for the first time will host the 14th session of the Conference of Parties in September, in which place Sustainable Gastronomy Day was observed on what day of 2019? Every year, Autistic Pride Day is observed on which day? E-commerce giant Amazon India is the most attractive employer brand in the country, followed by Microsoft India and Sony India, says a survey. Pakistan appointed hardliner general as the new chief. He is Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid. He has replaced Lieutenant General Asim Munir only after 8 months of his service. Yeah. India for the first time will host 14th session of Conference of Parties. It will be held in Delhi. The United Nations General Assembly has designated 18th June as the International Observance Sustainable Gastronomy Day. Autistic Pride Day is observed on June 18 every year all around the globe. Name the new brand ambassador of Hero MotoCorp. The 48th DG level talk between India's Border Security Forces and the border guard Bangladesh was held where? NEC Technologies India has partnered with CDAC to deploy its automated fingerprint identification system for which state police? 14-year-old Nihal Sareen is associated with which sports? And Griha Summit 2019 was held where? Hero MotoCorp announced the appointment of Yerry Mina, the popular Colombian professional footballer, as its new brand ambassador. India's Border Security Force and Border Guard Bangladesh concluded the 40th DG level talk in Dhaka. NEC Technology, a leading player in integration of IT and network technology, has partnered with Center for Development of Advanced Computing to deploy its automated fingerprint identification for Kerala Police. India's 14-year-old grandmaster, the chess players Nihal Sareen, won the Blitz event in the Asian Continental Chess Championship in Xingtai, China. Griha Council is associated with Public Work Department, Government of Maharashtra, organized the 10th Regional Griha Summit in Nagpur, Maharashtra. The government has decided to show what on the Doordarshan free dish Dash-based Cosmos Green plan to set up world's first metal scrap exchange by the end of 2019 with warehouses in port cities such as Mumbai, Chennai and Mundra. E-commerce player Amazon.in launched its biggest delivery station at which place? India has extended US $15 million assistance to which country for organizing the African Union AU Summit in July? Name the Indian engineer who has won 2019 Commonwealth Secretary's General Innovation for Sustainable Development Award in London for his device named SARS. Government has decided to show BTV World, a channel owned by Bangladesh TV, on the Doordarshan free dish, which will be available for viewers of Doordarshan in our country. At the same time, DD in India would be made available to Bangladesh for being viewed by the people in that country. Similar arrangement was done by KBS World, an English 24/7 channel of South Korean government. UAE-based Cosmos Green plans to set up world first metal scrap exchange by the end of 2019. E-commerce player Amazon.in launched its biggest delivery station in Telangana at Gachibowli in Hyderabad. India has extended $15 million assistance to Niger for organizing the African Union Summit scheduled to be held in Miami early next month. The Commonwealth Secretary General Innovation for Sustainable Development Award in London was won by Nitesh Kumar Jangir, who created SARS, a breathing support device to tackle avoidable death of premature babies for respiratory distress syndrome due to the lack of immediate access to complex medical equipment. ICANN and which other agency announced collaboration to develop identifier technology that can be used for managing devices and infrastructure using Internet? Which institute among the Indian institute topped the ranking by QS World University Ranking 2020? The Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology is planning to set up new startup incubators across India, part of its Technology Incubation and Development of Entrepreneur Type 20 scheme. State Electricity Board has signed a power purchase agreement with GAinful Power Private Limited under its ambitious project to establish waste-to-energy plants across the state. Which state has made it mandatory for trekkers to carry a GPS device to tackle any exigency? Global Internet body ICANN and Indian IT industry body NASSCOM announced collaboration to develop identifier technology that can be used for managing devices and infrastructure using Internet. The Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, has improved its rank in QS World University Ranking 2020 edition by 10 places to emerge as 152nd best global institute, extending its lead over IT Delhi to 30 places. The government is planning to further enhance support to startups in the information and communication technology space with setting up of 51 new startup incubators across India as part of its Technology Incubation and Development of Entrepreneurs Type 2 scheme. Providing impetus to government's ambitious project to establish waste-to-energy plants across state, Kerala State Electricity Board signed a power purchase agreement with Kochi-based GAinful Power Private Limited, the agency implementing the project at Brahmapur Solid Waste Treatment Plant. The Himachal Pradesh government made it mandatory for trekker to carry a GPS device to tackle any exigency. Name the batsman who has scored highest number of sixes in ODI. The International Day for Elimination of Sexual Violence in Conflict is observed on which day every year? Which tech company has acquired GitHub tool vendor Panda? Which state has top slot in the second edition of the US Green Building Council list of India's top 10 states that have the maximum number of LEED certified green building? Name the tool that is launched by WHO to reduce the spread of antimicrobial resistance, AMR. Ireland-born English captain Eoin Morgan broke the record for most maximum hits, that maximum sixes, with 17 sixes during an ODI inning. Earlier it was held by Rohit Sharma, A.B. de Villiers and Chris Gayle, who had slammed 16 sixes each. On 19 June 2019, United Nations General Assembly proclaimed 19 June of each year as the International Day for Elimination of Sexual Violence in Conflict. Microsoft has acquired GitHub tool vendor Panda for an undisclosed amount. Maharashtra bagged the top slot, followed by Karnataka and Tamil Nadu in the second edition of the US Green Building Council list of India's top 10 states that have maximum number of LEED certified green buildings. WHO has launched a global campaign urging government to adopt a tool to reduce the spread of antimicrobial resistance, adverse event, and costs. The AWARE tool was developed by WHO Essential Medicine List to contain this rising resistance and making antibiotic use safer and more effective. Ireland will ban the sale of new petrol and diesel vehicles by which year? The 12th session of the Conference of State Parties to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities was held where? And Lingappa, who died at the age of 95, was a veteran. What? Gary Woodland of the US is associated with these sports. Which sports I'm talking about? Name the new Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Ireland has announced it will ban the sale of new petrol and diesel vehicles by 2030. The 12th session was decided by state parties at 11th session of Conference of State Parties of Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities on 14 June 2018 was held at the United Nations headquarters in New York from 11 to 13 June. Veteran athletic coach and Dronacharya awardee and Lingappa passed away due to an age-related illness in Bangalore. He was 95. Gary Woodland won 119th US Open, that's golf tournament, capturing his first major title with 13 under par total to deny two-time defending champion broke Koyapa bid for history at Pebble Beach. Om Birla, a two-time Bharatiya Janata Party Member of Parliament from Rajasthan, was elected Speaker of the 17th Lok Sabha. According to the Global Trend report by UNHRC, about how many million people in 2018 face forced displacement? Who is the recipient of Prime Minister Award for outstanding contribution for promotion and development of yoga for the year 2019? Indian Coast Guard co-hosted an international workshop in cooperation with the Regional Cooperation Agreement on combating piracy and armed robbery against ships in Asia. At which place? What is the project cost of 6 conventional submarine P-75 project for Indian Navy? Which country has emerged as the fastest growing economy among the 45 countries of the Asia Pacific region according to the Asian Development Bank? The number of people fleeing war, prosecution, and conflict exceeded 70 million in 2018. On the occasion of Second International Day of Yoga celebration in Chandigarh, 21st June 2016, Swami Rajarshi of Life Mission, Ms. Antonietta Rosie, Munger and Japan Yoga Niketan and Bihar School of Yoga are the recipient of Prime Minister Award for outstanding contribution for promotion and development of yoga in 2019. Indian Coast Guard co-hosted an international workshop in New Delhi to deepen knowledge on issues related to piracy and armed robbery. As a major initiative towards Make in India, the government has issued expression of interest for shortlisting the potential strategic partner for construction of 6 conventional submarines for P-75 project of the Indian Navy. The project is about 45,000 crore rupees. It is the second project being undertaken under the latest strategic partnership model, with the first being the procurement of 111 naval utility helicopters. Bangladesh has emerged as the fastest growing economy among the 45 countries of the Asia Pacific region according to the ADB. The 4th National Yoga Olympiad was held where? Which operation has Indian Navy launched in the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman to reassure Indian flagged vessels transiting through the area following the recent maritime incidents in the region? DBS Bank has revised India's GDP growth for the fiscal year 2020 to how many percentages? Pawan Hans Limited has signed an MOU with which helicopters to collaborate on the future introduction of 2 new categories of helicopters, the H-145 and H-225. The 20th meeting on Financial Stability and Development Council was held under the chairmanship of HOME. The 4th National Yoga Olympiad concluded at All India Council for Technical Education, New Delhi. Indian Navy launched Operation Sankalp in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman to reassure Indian flagged vessels transiting through the area following the recent maritime incidents in the region. DBS Bank has revised India's GDP forecast for the fiscal year 2020 downward to 6.8% year-on-year from 7% projected earlier. Pawan Hans has signed an MOU with Airbus Helicopters to collaborate on the future introduction of 2 new categories of helicopter, The 20th meeting of Financial Stability and Development Board was held under the chairmanship of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. World Sickle Cell Day is observed on which day every year? Name the first satellite of Sri Lanka. Huge Chitra is associated with which sports? Which bank has put a restriction on cash deposit up to 50,000 for maximum 3 times in a month without any charges? Under Akshat Yojana, now an unemployed graduate youth will get how many rupees per month unemployment allowance? The 19th June is seen as the World Sickle Cell Day, and this year the Sickle Cell Society is celebrating 40 years of working in sickle cell community. The sickle cell community embracing change together was the theme. Sri Lanka's first satellite, Ravana 1, designed and developed by 2 local engineers, was successfully launched into the orbit this week from the International Space Station, along with 2 other Birds 3 satellites from Japan and Nepal. Asian champion P.U. Chitra beat former Commonwealth Games champion Kenya Mercy Chenaro and won the women 1500 meter gold with season best 4.4 minutes 12 seconds 0.65 microsecond at Folksam Grand Prix in Sollentuna, Sweden. Yeah, only hope she is again not charged with some drug use, etc. This is wonderful. An Indian beating a Kenyan, in athletics sounds so good. Canara Bank customers can deposit cash for free only thrice a month, and from the 4th transaction, there will be charged from July 1st. Unemployed youth having graduation or equivalent degree will be given unemployment allowance up to Rs 3,500 by Rajasthan government. World Refugee Day is observed on which day every year? Lal Rinchana, who died at the age of 84, was a former minister in which state? What is India's rank in terms of fish production in the world? National Health Authority and which foundation have signed an agreement to train 1,500 state and district personnel and Pradhan Mantri Arog Mitras? The Committee on Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises under the chairmanship of UK Sinha has recommended the cap on collateral-free loan to how many rupees? This looks like one of the most relevant question. First of all, the cap and also under whose chairmanship it happened. I'll be surprised if this is not there in one of your banking exams. On December 4, 2000, the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 5576 decided that from June 2000, 20th June would be celebrated as the World Refugee Day. Theme here, step with refugees, take a step on World Refugee Day. Former Mizoram minister and MNF leader Lal Rinchana died. He was 84. India is the second largest fish producing country in the world as it accounts for 6.3% of the global fish production, released by Fisheries Department. National Health Authority and ICICI Foundation have signed an agreement to train 15,000 state and district personnel and Pradhan Mantri Ayog Mitras to streamline delivery of health services under government flagship Ayushman Bharat scheme. Reserve Bank of India expert committee headed by former Securities and Exchange Board of India chairman UK Sinha on micro, small and medium enterprises they recommend doubling the cap on the collateral-free loans to 20 lakh from the current rupees 10 lakhs. The intersessional meeting of Kimberley process was held where? Kaleshwaram lift irrigation. This is another important project. We should know. World's largest multi-stage and multi-purpose lift irrigation scheme is located in which state? International retail giant Dash agreed to pay over $282 million to various US bodies to settle charges of violating anti-corruption regulation while conducting its businesses in India, China, Brazil, and Mexico. The Madhya Pradesh government has announced to provide Dash rupees as a minimum compensation to small and marginal farmers in the event of crop loss due to natural calamities. The Goods and Service Tax Council decided to extend the tenure of the National Anti-Profiteering Authority by the intersessional meeting of Kimberley process was hosted in India from 17 to 21st June in Mumbai. Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project, claimed as world's largest multi-stage, multi-purpose lift irrigation, was inaugurated by Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao at Medigada, where the first barrage of the project is located in Jayashankar Pallapalli district. The international retail giant Walmart agreed to pay over 282 million US dollar to various US bodies to settle charges of violating anti-corruption regulation. Yeah, clearly, I am surprised that Walmart deal in India was never in use. Yeah, when they have agreed there and have paid so much fine, agreeing that they have bribed people. It will be interesting to see who they bribed. The Madhya Pradesh government has announced to provide 5,000 rupee in minimum compensation to small and marginal farmer in the event of crop loss due to natural calamities. GST, the Goods and Service Tax Council, decided to extend the tenure of National Anti-Profiteering Authority by 2 more years. Which asset management company has entered into a joint venture with Canada-based global financial service group Manulife, who has clinched 35th Men's Asian Snooker Championship in Doha, who has been appointed as India's representative in the Council of International Civil Aviation Organization, a United Nations body. India Bull Housing Finance is going to merge with which other organization? Dash has been appointed as an independent person by the World Archery to sort out the ongoing mess in the National Federation. Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services, through its subsidiary Mahindra Asset Management Company, has entered into joint venture with Canada-based global financial service group Manulife. India's ace QS Pankaj Advani has clinched 35th Men's Asian Snooker Championship in Doha to complete a career Grand Slam in Q Sports. Senior bureaucrat Shefali Juneja has been appointed as India's representative in the Council of International Civil Aviation Organization, a United Nations body. India Bull Housing Finance said the Competition Commission of India has approved the proposed merger of the company with Lakshmi Vilas Bank. India's lone Olympic gold medalist Abhinav Bindra was appointed as an independent person by the World Archery to sort out the ongoing mess in the National Federation. How many startups have been supported in the past 3 years with the Fund of Funds for the Startups? The India International Institute of Democracy and Election Management organized 5-day training program on the use of technology in election for election officials of Union Election Commission of which country? World Music Day is celebrated every year, on which day the National Payment Corporation of India has entered into an agreement with government of which place to offer Me Seva portal user the option to pay using UPI, collect requests, rupee debit and credit card for the services on the portal. A team of the scientists in which place has developed a chemical process that turns dirty coal into biomedical dot to help detect cancer cells. A total of 249 startups have been supported in past 3 years with the Fund of Funds for Startups, said the government. The Indian International Institute of Democracy and Election Management will be training people from Myanmar. The World Music Day is celebrated every year on June 21st in over 120 countries, including its country of origin, France, where it is known as Fête de la Musique, meaning Festival of Music to honor both amateur and professional musicians. The National Payment Corporation has entered an agreement with the government of Telangana to offer Me Seva portal user the option to pay using UPI collect request, rupee debit, credit card for the service on the portal. A team of scientists in Assam has developed a chemical process that turns dirty coal into biomedical dot to help detect cancer cells. Which country became India's top good trading partner in 2018-19? Which e-commerce platform will provide loans at competitive interest rate from banks and NBFCs to its sellers? According to Ericsson, which country has world's highest data usage per smartphone per month? What is India's rank in terms of capital flows into commercial real estate according to Knight Frank report? What is the code name of the airstrike carried out by Indian Air Forces on terrorist training camp in Balakot, Pakistan on February 26, 2019? The US took over China to once again become India's top good trading partner in 2018-19. Sellers on e-commerce major Flipkart platform can now get loans at competitive interest rate from banks and non-banking financial companies within 2 days. India has world's highest data usage per smartphone on an average of 9.8 GB per month. India is still far behind compared with other countries in attracting cross-border capital in commercial state. Knight Frank India 20th in the aspect of top capital importing countries globally. In terms of outbound cross-border investment, country ranks 30th. The airstrike by the Indian Air Force on terrorist camp in Balakot was codenamed Operation Bandar. Pranati Naik of West Bengal is associated with which sports? What was the theme of Prime Minister's interactive session with over 40 economists and other experts organized by Niti Aayog? Who is the new US Secretary of Defense? How many Krishi Vigyan Kendra have been set up by the government? Which company has launched the world's most detailed and advanced population density maps using artificial intelligence for Bangladesh and other countries of Asia Pacific? Indian gymnast Pranati Naik clinched bronze medal in the vault event at the Senior Asian Artistic Championships in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi attended an interactive session with over 40 economists and other experts organized by Niti Aayog on the theme Economic Policy The Road Ahead. US President Donald Trump has nominated Mark Esper to be the US Secretary of Defense. The government has set up 713 Krishi Vigyan Kendra and 684 agriculture technology management agencies at the district level in the country for dissemination of technologies among the farming community. This is aimed at the target of doubling the farmer income by 2022. Facebook has launched the world's most detailed and advanced population density map using artificial intelligence for Bangladesh and other countries of Asia Pacific. According to the Ministry of Women and Child Development latest data, the All India sex ratio at birth has risen from 923 girls per 1000 boys to how many per 1000 in the last 4 years. Recently, which organization has revealed the statistics of All India level of HbA1c blood test for the month of May in 2019? Which two organizations have formed a joint venture to set up National Electricity Distribution Company? Which state has banned felling of trees? My Life, My Mission is the biography of which person? According to the ministry, the sex ratio at birth has increased from 923 to 931. This is very interesting, and you will be surprised to see Haryana making a jump from 887 to 914. Clearly, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao is working. All India level of HbA1c, a blood test to determine average blood sugar control over a period of 3 months, stood at 8.5% in May 2019, around 3% higher than the normal sugar level. This is released by Novo Nordisk Education Foundation. Heralding a major change in the power distribution sector of the country, two leading public utilities, NTPC and Power Grid Corporation of India, have formed a joint venture to set up National Electricity Distribution Company. The government of Bihar recently banned felling of trees, citing increasing pollution as well as fatal heat waves. Yoga Guru Baba Ramdev will unveil the trials, tribulation, and triumph of his life and provide insight into his childhood in his soon-to-be published autobiography, My Life, My Mission. Lesson Life Taught Me Unknowingly is autobiography of which person? Which company has launched National Freight Index? Who has been named as the director of London's Nehru Centre? Where has India's first specialized hydrotherapy treatment for elephants opened? Which tech company has signed a multi-year contract with Cricket Australia, the governing body of Australian cricket? Veteran Bollywood actor Anupam Kher has penned autobiography titled Lessons Life Taught Me Unknowingly and believes it will propel people into the right direction. In its bid to bring transparency in the road freight marketplace, Gurgaon-based tech-enabled logistics startup Refugee has launched a National Freight Index that will provide live freight rate for different lanes and vehicles across the country. Author Amish Tripathi has been named as the director of London Nehru Centre. Indian Council for Cultural Relations (ICCR) President Vinay Sahasrabudhe announced. India has opened its first specialized hydrotherapy treatment for elephants. This is in banks of Yamuna in Mathura. HCL Technologies has signed multi-year contract with Cricket Australia, the governing body of Australian cricket. Which has become the first company to launch drone compliant with aviation regulators, no permission, no takeoff requirements. Being the first Arab country to join Financial Action Task Force. Who has inaugurated the Air Traffic Flow Management Central Command Center at Vasant Kunj, New Delhi? Tanjavur Ramamurthy, who passed away at the age of 90, was a noted which exponent. The third Indo-French cyber dialogue was held where Bangalore-based Skylark Drone became the first company to launch drones compliant with aviation regulators' no permission, no takeoff requirements. Saudi Arabia became the first Arab country to join FATF. Sri Hardeep Singh Puri, Minister of State Independent Charge for Civil Aviation, launched the Air Traffic Flow Management Central Command Center at Vasant Kunj, New Delhi. Noted Mridangam exponent and former top grade staff artist of All India Radio, Tanjavur Ramamurthy, passed away in Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Third Indo-French cyber dialogue was held in Paris. Name the Deputy Governor of RBI who resigned recently from his post 6 months before the end of his term. According to the Ministry of Environment, the number of deaths due to the accident in chemical industry have come down nearly how many percent from 2015 to 18. Who won FIH Women's Series Final, Hiroshima 2019? Who won the French Grand Prix 2019? Who is the author of the book titled Function of Data Sovereignty, The Pursuit of Supremacy? RBI Deputy Governor Viral V. Acharya has resigned from his post 6 months before his scheduled end of his term. The number of deaths due to accident in chemical industries have come down by nearly 41% from 2015 to 18. Indian women hockey team won FIH Women's Series Final Hiroshima 2019 after defeating host Japan 3-1 in the final. Lewis Hamilton extended his championship lead with victory in the French Grand Prix, with Mercedes continuing their unbroken dominance in 2019. Author Vineet Goenka releases book Function of the Data Sovereignty, The Pursuit of Supremacy, and said days of data colonization are not too far. Which country from Asia did not report any indigenous cases of malaria in 2018? Justice Raghavendra Singh Chauhan was sworn in as the Chief Justice of which High Court? Justice V. Ramasubramanian was sworn in as the Chief Justice of which High Court? Olympic Day celebrated every day on which day? Public Service Day is observed on which day? 4 countries from Asia, China, Iran, Malaysia and Timor-Leste, and 1 from the Central America, El Salvador, reported no indigenous cases of malaria in 2018. Justice Raghavendra Singh Chauhan was sworn in the Chief Justice of Telangana High Court, and V. Ramasubramanian was sworn in the Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh. The first Olympic Day was celebrated on 23rd June 1948, and that's the day when Olympic Day is celebrated. The United Nations General Assembly designated 23rd June as the Public Service Day. International Widows Day is observed on which day? Who has been conferred Innovative Research Excellence Award 2019 at Asian Leadership Summit held at Thimphu, Bhutan? What is the deadline prescribed by Niti Aayog to two-wheelers with an engine capacity less than 150cc to be converted to electric? Which country became the first country to ratify the new agreement that replaced NAFTA? Named the young entrepreneur from Surat who has launched a mission to turn railway station in Udhana town of Gujarat, Surat district into India's first green railway station. The United Nations observes 23rd June as International Widow Day. Dr. Gaurav Nigam, a well-known educationist, pediatrician, and the author, has been conferred Innovative Research Excellence Award 2019. Niti Aayog aims to make three-wheeler to be fully electric by 2023 and two-wheelers with an engine capacity less than 150 to be converted by electric by 2025. Mexico became the first country to ratify the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement agreed last year to replace the NAFTA. To propagate Mahatma Gandhi's mantra, cleanliness is godliness, and achieve the objective of clean India, green India, Viral Sudhir Bhai Desai is attempting to turn Udhana railway station into a green and pollution-free one like Mumbai's Chhatrapati. Okay, so with that we come to an end of this week's GAinful. I'll again see you very soon with the next one. Thank you very much.